how's it going? I'm back. A bit later than I wanted to be, but my birthday weekend had me feeling pretty rough for a few days. Anyhow, let's get to it. I recorded 3 matches that I solo queued for, 1 on each game mode, to go over how to fill your role as Assault. And we'll go over my thought process, or lack thereof, going into some of the plays I make. Some people say Assault plays itself, some people say it's underwhelming. So anyways, let's get started with a quick rundown of mechanics that are useful in general, and then we will go over how I go about playing the specific game modes. The core ability of Assault is your Jump Pack, which comes stocked with 3 charges which allow you to use 2 main abilities, Jump and Dash. Jump is performed by holding down your ability button. It allows you to go up into the air and come down with either a slam attack or hover while holding the aim button. You can also enable and disable hovering by tapping your sprint key. This can be used to maintain hang time, but you will not recover your boost until you land. A big downside of jumping is to remember that you're not technically on the point when you're high up in the air. Next up, we have dashing, which is performed by tapping the ability button, and can be performed after using a jump to reposition in the air. You can also cancel the animation of your slam attack with a dash, which is useful for saving yourself when you slam into a bad spot. Next up, we have the loadout. Personally, I prefer the chainsword, regular pistol, and melt-a-bomb. Hammer has its uses, but I don't like how slow it is, but its charge attack is unblockable and can be used to clear out corners. Assault's main way of handling other classes is to land a slam and then perform either 2 melees or another slam. It's not recommended to slam and then shoot due to your slam not breaking the enemy shield, but if their shield's already down, shooting will down them faster than meleeing them. One of your most important tools is the Melt-a-Bomb, which has a short throw range and needs to be manually detonated by either holding down your equipment button or damaging it. Using your jump pack, you can sidestep the issue of the short throw range and utilize it similar to like an airstrike. It's capable of downing multiple foes at once within its large blast radius. With all that out of the way, let's get into how to utilize these tools in different game modes. Alright, Capture and Control, Assault's weakest game type in my opinion. While still strong, the biggest downside is that some capture points are under low roofs, which remove your ability to jump slam. Particularly on Mausoleum and Cathedral. Bastion isn't too bad since the hallway control points have an opening in the middle, but the low ceilings leave you at a huge disadvantage without a primary weapon. In these situations, the hammer can be more useful due to its AoE slam damage, allowing you to crunchitize people, but you can also use your dash to deliver melta payloads to try to take out a group of enemies to clear the objective. Although,
the Codex Astartes does not support this action.
I normally use my dashes to close in on the objective quickly. It's important to fight and move as a team, but Assault can get to the point quickly to stop the enemy from getting points. Or even drop a melta on the enemy before they know what hit him. Big thing that you should be focusing on is clearing the point. Or, if your team has a strong position, taking out enemy heavies or bulwarks to remove the enemy's ability to push on that point. Even when you feel outgunned, take some cover and take stock of what options you have. In this situation, I'm 1v1ing a heavy on point, and I almost got cooked. I'm low health, no shield, but I have 3 boost and a melta. So I feel pretty confident here until he starts moving like Bernie. Every point counts, so try to maximize your objective time as well, contesting whenever you can. Next, we have Seize Ground. There are 2 main spots you want to hover around by default. The gap between your home point and Beta, which gives you the ability to defend your home point as well as provide support at the mid objective, or between the enemy's point and the mid point, which allows you to harass the enemy's point while also providing assist at the midpoint to help your team. Personally, one thing I like to do is push onto the enemy point and hold it for as long as I can to really hinder the enemy's push on other objectives. You will normally be outgunned in these situations and the enemy respawn is close by, but if you're able to consistently win these 2v1s, it could be a huge help to your team. Big thing to focus on in these fights is to manage your boost. If you only have 1 boost, normally I will withdraw if I see a lot of enemies approaching. Wait for boost regen, health regen, maybe pick up some equipment, and then return to the point, which is much faster than respawning in most cases. It can really shake up the other team to start losing an objective they just took back the second they step off of it. And also, taking their equipment will reduce the amount of equipment they have to throw at your team. You should only really use your last boost to close out a fight, and if you use your last boost and there are still enemies on the objective, you're most likely cooked. And if you do end up using this strategy, make sure to communicate with your team that that's what you're doing. If they do ask for help, you might want to give them a hand and not leave them outnumbered. Annihilation is your generic team deathmatch. Match start, first thing you want to do is use your boost to get out to a point where you can use your jump to do some scouting. Letting your team know where the other team is early can help you get them to group up. Information is key. It is important to see where your team is and stick to them. Support your teammates and keep an eye on their highlights through the walls. If your brother is hitting the Dougie through a wall by themselves, they are probably getting ganked, and if you can't save them, you can at least clean up and even the score. Do your best not to feed. Do not jump into 3 enemies unless you're extremely confident that you have it, or if your team's on them. And if they see you before you jump in, you most likely do not have that. Use your pings as much as you can. If you aren't using voice chat, they're the next best thing. Just knowing where an enemy is can prevent a teammate from walking into them blind and help your team secure some downs. If the enemy is grouped up, a flank into Melt-A-Bomb can definitely break their lines and turn things around, but don't go off on your own too much. And lastly, don't be afraid to use your boost to run away. Using 2 or even 3 boosts to escape a situation where you would have been offed is better than giving the enemy the point. Sometimes you have to play it safe and regroup with your team. Go get some ammo, equipment, and then return to the fight. Don't forget to check the scoreboard frequently in this game mode to admire your KDA and make sure you aren't feeding. You can also see what classes the enemy has picked, which is nice to know. And that should about do it. If there's anything I missed or anything anyone has questions about, feel free to ask in the comments. I plan to upload more regularly and cover some different games at some point as well. I kinda just want to make videos to talk about things that I enjoy talking about. But if you're still around, thanks for watching. And remember, take it easy, and if it's easy, take it twice. Later.